What's going on, KD community? This is your boy just hopping on for a quick after hours live. It's been a moment. It has been a little while. I want to welcome you all who will be seeing this first thing in the morning as you drive to work. Your boy is back. She a champion is back, baby. But yo, the NBA is buzzing, man. NBA is buzzing, cousins. What's good? Get up in here. Let's talk. I had to hop on here, man, because I'm like, I needed a little bit of a vacation, bro, after the championship series and we became champions, man. We all deserve. We all deserve to take a vacation and a break. But man, and sitting back and seeing everything that's happening, you see the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? And one thing that really stood out to me, shout out to all Knicks Nation podcasters. Definitely one thing that stood out to me, man, is that I don't think the NBA understands the moment that it has right in front of them. I really don't think the NBA understands what it is that they're looking at, because a lot of people were tight when that schedule came out. It was enough. We was already tight when we saw the NBA 2K cover come out, right? We could be all right with that. It's a video game. But I don't think the NBA understands the moment that it has. I was tight a little bit when the schedule came out. All right. And what I mean by that is, look, the New York Knicks are no longer chasing the attention of the NBA. We don't have to. I think the players, former players, the media, and the culture, I think right now they're chasing the attention of the Knicks. They're chasing the attention of the Knicks fans. And that's what I wanted to kind of get on here and go live on. But I don't want to do a show. I want to talk to y'all. Let me see if I can pull up my comment section, because I want y'all to be part of this conversation just as much as I am. Like I said, I was out for a little bit. And just taking a break, man, getting locked in on work and getting focused. Our New York Knicks allowed us to do that. But yeah, man. So what I mean by that, I would say this. LeBron James is in Philadelphia now. He joins the likes of Tyrese Maxey. He joins the likes of Joel Embiid. He joins the likes of Jaylen Brown now. All right. And of course, that's right up LeBron James's alley, because LeBron is the inventor of let's get together and let's stack the chips to try to win this chip. Right. So he's he prides himself on the super team. He don't care no more. There's no shame in his game. He don't care if it appears as ring chasing. He don't care. He feels if I could just add the rings to my hand, that's all that matters. His coof is out the window. Okay. So he makes no bones about it. Him and Rich Paul, Adam Silver, they make no bones about what's happening. But my thing is this: 53 years, right? After 53 years, bro, you gotta know it's a moment that you have in the palm of your hands. It's a gift that's been given to you. You gotta know that, right, Adam Silver? You don't realize that you have a gift. The most rabid fan base in sports, the most rabid fan base you have in the NBA, the highest media market you got in the NBA, just took a magical run, not a magical lucky run, right? They dominated on their path to the championship. That's what we're talking. They didn't dominate the path to the championship with the super team. They dominated the path to their championship, playing the right way, playing great basketball, gritty, with the emerging superstar. I mean, the superstar stood up strong in front of the world for your product, doing things that the likes of Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant have done in the past. That level of clutch moment ability, all of that. And I'm not even counting the good character that you see on the team. I'm not even talking about the father-son storyline in a league that doesn't highlight fathers. I'm not even talking about the father being on the staff and there being no friction between him and the head coach. I'm not even talking about that. I'm not even talking about the fact that most of the stars on the team, there's no scandal attached to their name. Let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about the fact that they're all family oriented, that they have chemistry, that they like each other. What better story can you write? If I was Adam Silver, I would ride that wave to be able to effectively pivot from what you've seen in terms of super teams, me first superstars, aging. You got a whole crop of aging, about to retire superstars. Adam Silver, you don't want an organic pivot from that. You don't want an organic pivot. You still want to continue to put the spotlight. You know what it is. David Stern had Michael Jordan. Adam Silver has LeBron James. And he wants the fairy tale ending. He wants to be able to put his megastar over David Stern. First, we thought it was about LeBron's ego on his legacy. It's about Adam Silver's ego on his legacy, that you would have the nerve to be able to try to hijack the New York Knicks' moment so that you can sprinkle some of their stardust onto your aging LeBron James and their super team. Why would you risk taking away from that moment? That's what I want to talk about. Why would you even risk pulling away from the New York Knicks' moment? I know you're trying to hurry us up off the stage. I know you're looking at your watch like we got to close by 11. I know what you're trying to do. But you have a moment right now that you don't understand for the sake of the ego of LeBron James and Clutch Sports. So that's what I wanted to hop on here and talk about with my people tonight. Because it's kind of, to me, it's like, Adam Silver, man, it's just wow. It's just wow. So I want to just set the table. I want to welcome y'all, man. If y'all joining me, yo, welcome. I know I've been away for a little bit, but I just had to hop on here with this live, man, because a couple of these topics, bro, see that schedule come out. A lot of people are up in arms about it, man. A lot of people are up in arms about it, especially me, bro. Look, it's banner night, baby. It's our time to shine. Banner night. Come on, man. And right now, my laptop is acting wild. I can't get my chats up. So hold on for a second. Bear with me. Yeah, man. Adam Silver's tripping, man. But you know what? We don't care. We don't care. Adam Silver doesn't want the New York Knicks to have their moment. I'll tell you this much, man. Every year with the start of a new season, I want to welcome y'all to Knicks Deli, baby. I'm your boy Sheer. If you're here for the first time, welcome. If you're my go-to people, my KD community, man, welcome back. Y'all, I know I've been away for a little bit. But Adam Silver's tripping, bro. Every season, the start of the new season, man, I'm excited because I'm excited about the possibility that the New York Knicks has finally put together a team that can go all the way, right? Every year. But I tell you this much, every year as well, they always, on all of the sports shows, show the highlights of whoever the winning champion, whoever the newly crowned champion is. They show the highlights of their banner ceremony. And I'm not even going to lie to you. I ain't even going to hold you. I don't watch it. I turn away. Because there are certain years that I look at that and I'm like, damn, man, why couldn't that be us? Why couldn't that be us, man? Like, yo, give us one time where that could be us, where we're the ones, Adam Silver saying, you're 2025, 2026 NBA champions. Why can't that be us? So every year I turn away from it. Anytime I see it on Sports Center, anytime I see it on whatever other sports channels they have, highlights, I always every year turn from the raising of the banner ceremony. But not this year. How many eyes is going to be on the television on banner night? How many eyes? You saw how many eyes? You saw the historic numbers that were on the NBA Finals this year. You saw the the historic numbers that were on the path in terms of the playoffs, watching the New York Knicks make history. You saw that. You saw in terms of fan base alone and market alone, you saw the numbers who came out to see the New York Knicks down the Canyon of Heroes, the Parade of Champions. You saw that. So you know the possibility, you know the potential. And this is how you know capitalism is on fire right now in terms of Adam Silver, because he looked at that and he was just like, yeah, what better card? What better way to make this thing even more than to add LeBron James to the mix? Why would you do that, bro? Why would you do that? I just don't understand it. But you know what? Insecure Knick fans will have a problem with that. I ain't got no problem with that. At first I was tight, and it could have been insecurity. It could have been insecurity. I probably was a little bit insecure about that. Like, give us our moment. But nah, you know what? I think LeBron James had a front row seat because he was eliminated in the playoffs to see what the New York Knicks. Man, you know how in the video game in 2K7, where you have a player and you follow them through career mode, that was your potential career mode, LeBron. You, because you were eliminated, you had a front row seat to see what your outcome could have been had you taken on the responsibility to try to lead the New York Knicks towards their first title in 50 plus years. You had that chance. Well, at that time, in about 45 years, you had that chance, but you ran away from the spotlight. So you actually saw a star emerge in the New York market and become a superstar. And then with his team, a championship team, you saw them break that curse from 53 years. And you saw how the city came out and responded, how the New York Knicks fans, when they're on your side, they travel and they become one of your biggest weapons in opposing arenas. So New York Knicks fans, I got news for you. I don't mind Philadelphia being there on banner night. Why not join us? Why not have a front row seat and see how we do it in New York, right? Yeah, I want you to be on the other side. And you're going to act like you're trying to focus and lock in, and you're going to be looking down. You're going to be doing all of that, trying to get the cameras on you. No, but you need to watch. You need to pay attention. And you will, because your ego won't allow you not to. You're going to be looking around and taking in that energy from the crowd. You're going to be raising your eyes up. And for many people, it feel like this is the New York Knicks' first championship. But when you see that banner rise up to the rafters, you're going to see it's joining two others. You're going to see that it's joining two others, giving us three. We're still one of the franchises that has a history of putting banners up there. And not only that, Knicks fans, don't be humble about your joint. We low-key dominated the NBA last season. So clearly, if you ask me, we need to not only raise that NBA banner, but we need to raise the mother flipping midseason tournament. Let's raise the Eastern Conference as well. Anything that a player on our team won MVP for, raise that mother flipper on banner night. Because what the New York Knicks did last season, they added credence and credibility to the NBA midseason tournament. A lot of people tried to down it. Kudos to LeBron, because when they won it, he was in the locker room with his team as if they won a championship. So he did create the blueprint for that. And people kind of clown him for that too. You know what I mean? It's just like, they fizzled out in the playoffs. The key to it, in terms of giving it credence and credibility, is when you win it in the midseason and then you repeat and you meet the same opponent in the finals, and then you have the same result. That's when you got credibility. That's when experts can look at the midseason tournament and say, is this a preview of the finals? And if they beat them there, then that give them confidence to say that they could possibly beat them in the finals. So now it's a matchup you look forward to. Now it's a matchup you can look forward to. So I say that to say this, man. I think it should be a celebration of the Knicks on opening night. And it will be, because New York Knicks fans won't be denied. MSG will not be denied. It should be a celebration of the accomplishment that we had, the historic accomplishment that we had, celebration of MSG being the mecca of basketball, of Knicks fans. We're going to take our moment, Knicks fans. Don't worry about it. Nobody's hijacking our moment. We're going to take our moment. We're going to take all the time that it needs because this is a celebration of a new era. No matter how much Adam Silver's trying to slow it down, no matter how much Adam Silver's trying to manufacture a farewell tour for LeBron James. LeBron James, don't nobody love you like that. You ain't Kobe. You think you Kobe? Nobody love you like that. Ain't that what Draymond Green said to Paul Pierce? They don't love you like that. That's why they didn't keep you in LA. That's why you in Philly. So you ain't going to manufacture nothing on our watch. You just happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time because this is the Brunson era now. This is the Brunson era now. So my question to you, Katie community, those people who are going to be watching this in the morning on your way to work, don't be typing while you're driving. Anybody who is in here late night with me right now, why do you think another major NBA storyline needs to be attached to our night? Am I a conspiracy theorist thinking that Adam Silver, LeBron James is Adam Silver's Michael Jordan, and he wants to be able to send LeBron James out the same way David Stern was able to send Michael Jordan out? That's his Michael Jordan. So if he can make it any better than what David Stern did, he's all for it. That's my theory about it. That is my theory about it. But I'll tell you this much. I think the New York Knicks, we never had to rely on a made-up storyline. We never had to manufacture our run. We actually did the opposite. Because if it worked in our favor, then LeBron James would have signed with the New York Knicks when the decision was made, as opposed to trying to troll us by having that announcement set up in Connecticut, a few miles away from the New York Knicks training center, and trying to lean into it as if he's going to determine New York as a spot and then say, I'm taking my talents to South Beach. Sometimes you outthink yourself. And I might be having that moment. Maybe I'm outthinking myself. Okay? But I'm going to tell you this. The New York Knicks have done it their way. Leon Rose knew LeBron James had already tainted the minds of many of his peers because he was the chosen one, because he was the self-described king. He had already influenced his peers to poo-poo the New York Knicks. It became a thing. So now, even when he's not around, nobody wants to be the first one to go to New York and fail. The one who did, Carmelo Anthony, and shout out to Carmelo Anthony. But Carmelo Anthony was not that guy. I'm sorry, y'all. I know there's a lot of Melo lovers. He wasn't that guy. And you seeing that's another thing that, and watching the NBA over the summer after the Knicks have won the championship, Melo has emerged more now with his podcast, and he has these takes similar to, I don't want to disrespect him. I don't want to say similar to Gilbert Arenas. But some of his takes to me, in terms of Carmelo Anthony, is proving why he ain't win a championship in New York. I don't know. Melo has selfish tendencies, bro. That's Melo has selfish tendencies. I've always said it. I thought if he really wanted a championship, he would have went to Chicago to play with Derrick Rose and them boys. And I think they really would have rivaled Miami. They would have beat Miami, I think, if they would have had a Melo. But he didn't. He wanted the money. And then most recently, he made comments about Brunson saying, I would have never did that. We know you wouldn't have did that. We know. We're super clear you wouldn't have did that. I watched that interview with him and Jeremy Lin. You couldn't find anything more awkward. He was trying to talk more to lessen that guilt feeling or that guilty cloud that's hovering over him. So he's trying to talk fast and trying to talk more to justify or get ahead of any story that would say that he was responsible for Jeremy Lin not getting renewed. I'm sorry, man. This is not an anti-Melo rant, man, but we know, bro, it's different. It's different. But LeBron James really tried to turn a lot of people off of New York, and he really leaned into borderline a racist type of uh, excuse when Phil Jackson said him and Rich Paul and Clutch Sports were his posse. Oh, he jumped on that real quick. Oh, posse, that's what you calling us? And this, that, and the third, just because black men in business. Wow, bro. I know Phil Jackson was just like, whoa, 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 whoa. And look, I don't know. Could there have been some overtones of that? I don't know. But what he was saying was, I see what y'all doing, and y'all trying to corner the market and move like you want to move in this league. And that's how you move it. And I don't know how wrong he was. So I'll just say this, opening night, we'll share that because it's not going to go according to the way you think. The New York Knicks have been bucking the script this whole run. So if Adam Silver thinks the New York Knicks are going to be, oh, cute story, you're going to raise your banner, you're going to get your rings, you're going to be high-fiving, and then you think we're going to lose by 14, you got another thing coming. You still got to roll the ball out there. You still got to play the game. So I say that, you know what I mean? LeBron James, another opportunity for them to piggyback off of the momentum of the New York Knicks to raise the profile for someone who doesn't know when to retire, someone who's trying to stat pad so that he could be in the same conversation as Michael Jordan. Bro, you're not there. You're not there. And then your targeted campaign on Kobe Bryant is another thing. You ain't even there either. But when the man is here, if Kobe Bryant was alive, Kobe Bryant didn't even respond to much of that. But I'm telling you, if he was alive, he knew that he would have to see Kobe at some point in time if he's making some of those statements or if some of that narrative is out there. He wouldn't have been moving like he was moving. So let's be clear about that. Kobe would stand him up. He'd stand him up straight. All right. But yeah, man, I'm look. So opening night, one thing. I think that's going to be. I'm looking forward to it, man. I got chills, bro. I had to detox myself from watching so many highlight videos from the championship run. Look, Knicks fans, don't ever let anybody push you out of this space. Okay. One thing I will say I do respect and will respect is Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson had mentioned he was just like he said that maybe it's time to move on. He was just like, he knew the moment he had surgery on his wrist that it was the start of a new season because now he has to focus on rehabbing and trying to get back before the start of the season. At this point, he has to kind of reshift his focus. And I appreciate that. You know what I mean? So, and looking at the new year, how are y'all feeling, man? It's a lot of changes in this new NBA. We got Philly, who's clearly a talented squad. I don't want to take that away. I don't care how old LeBron James is. LeBron James is cerebral enough and talented enough and is as physical of a specimen as you can get on a team with as much talent as you can get for him to become a more clutch type of Ben Simmons. It's so funny because I know Ben Simmons' name is floating out there. But what the Philadelphia 76ers did get is they thought that Ben Simmons would be some type of prototype of a LeBron James for them. Like a low budget. He has the size, point guard ability. That's why they really was enamored with drafting Ben Simmons because he had qualities like LeBron James. Now you got LeBron James, not with the athleticism, but Ben Simmons didn't have the athleticism. But you got the height, you got the passing ability, you got the ability to run the point guard position. You have all those things in LeBron James, but he's LeBron James. So you have more. So not saying they're a threat. I'm just saying it's gotta work. It's gotta work. On paper, y'all look good, but you have to play the game. On paper, it looks good, but you have to play the game. And what comes with that also is a lot of the pressure. It has to work. Y'all got to make it work, though. What I would be tight about if I was VJ Edgecombe, and this is something that's crazy that I'm noticing as well. I would be tight if I was VJ Edgecombe because although it's LeBron James, wow, coming to the team, this, that, and the third, I think sometimes, especially the young players, the first or second year players, they're so enamored with LeBron James that I don't think they're as competitive as a uh, Kobe Bryant or as a Allen Iverson when they're facing up Michael Jordan. When they're facing face to face with Michael Jordan, although they were opponents, they were just like, I want to see if you're the real deal. Allen Iverson was like, I want to see if my crossover works uh, on Michael Jordan or works on Black Jesus, right? I think when it comes to LeBron James has already met with them over the break, all seasons, pull them under their wing, and now they're like, all right, we're going to give you the ball, and we're going to let you do your thing. How does that look with a VJ Edgecombe who had a chance to really cut his teeth on high intensity playoff basketball and really battle against, the eventual champion? Now, I know it didn't reflect that in terms of the record, but he had to have moments against Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson was cooking everybody, but you could use that experience to get better for the following season. Same thing with Maxey, man. This should be the year that Maxey's emerging as the A or the number one player to be able to take the reins from Embiid so Embiid can drop down to the second or third option. And that was Maxey, Edgecombe, and Embiid. But now you bring in a Jaylen Brown, and that's not to say you don't want him to come in because that's the type of player you want to come in. When you put a Jaylen Brown, Maxey, and a Edgecombe together, bro, that's what you're looking at. But then when you add a LeBron on top of that, you're doing too much. You're doing too much. You have the ability for it to go super well, or you have the ability for it to be the Brooklyn Nets. Or you have the ability for it to be the Brooklyn Nets. I don't want to say the Brooklyn Nets with KD and Paul Pierce because they were over the hill champions. This Philly team is young and they do got star power, but man, how you putting it together? And then the storyline I definitely want to watch is, does LeBron James try to take over the coaching? Because every team he's gone to, there's been some of that, which is why, New York was like, nah, no, thank you. Because had he come to New York, he already had a situation in Cleveland where he was there when Mike Brown was brought on. So he was taking over the pen and the clipboard on Mike Brown. So he come to New York, he think that that's a permission slip for him to do that again. New York was like, nah, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. We've already established something here. We have a leader of the locker room here. We have a superstar here, and we have a championship coach now. He wasn't a championship coach when he was with you in Cleveland. You ain't doing that over here. I'm curious to see how many instances come out of LeBron James ignoring the play call, running his own play on the floor, and then it being reported as, LeBron James scrapped that play call. He's such a basketball mind. He's a basketball savant. That's what they call disrespect to the head coach when LeBron is the one doing it. Or being insubordinate when it comes to instruction and power or directives given by the leader, the coach. When you scrap the plans that the coach just said and you set your own play up, if it works, they call it basketball genius. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm going to be drama watching the Sixers all season. I will be watching some of their games too. Because we scouting now as the champions. It's Knicks Nation's responsibility to scout the ops. So I'm going to be watching some of that. Okay. I will be watching some of the ops' games. Okay. So finally, my comment section popped up. So let me give a shout out to some of y'all. I see Knicks Junkie. What's good, my brother? Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Robotnik turned 50. Turned 40. My bad. Your happy 40th, my brother. Let's go. Let's go. Yo, talk to me, man. How y'all feel about LeBron being in Philly? How y'all feel about LeBron being in Philly and the league doing their best to try to steal some of the Knicks' thunder by putting those poster boys on there? All right. I really think, once again, I really think that they're missing an opportunity, man. Jalen Brunson. It's going to be interesting to see um, what Jalen Brunson continues to do, because what pretty much is evident, he's not going to be denied. All of his peers is talking about his greatness. Yo, Anthony Edwards. Shout out to Anthony Edwards because he's authentic. He keeps it 1,000. He continues to point the directional signal towards Jalen Brunson. They asked him at Fanatics Fest. He was just like, how do you feel about being one of the upcoming faces of the league? He was just like, you know what comes with that? First off, you got to win at a high level. I believe you have to win a championship to be considered the face of the league. You got Jalen Brunson right there. And he was the first one to give Jalen Brunson the nickname Head of the Snake in terms of the Olympics. You got Jalen Brunson being considered the head of the snake, Jalen Brunson being clutch player of the year, stone cold killer. He has not one time gave himself a nickname. Nicknames in the NBA has always, for years, have been given to you. You don't create them or give them to yourself. That started with your boy LeBron, giving himself the nickname. If you got the glove, you got Rain Man, you got Black Jesus. Nobody gave themselves their nicknames. The corniest ish ever is when you come up with your own in the NBA. That's crazy to me. Crazy. But the NBA has a superstar with a phenomenal storyline in New York right there for the making. You could pivot and really enhance the brand of your league and grow this league if you were to lean into the New York Knicks and Jalen Brunson as the new era. Because you're not doing it marketing wise, but the entire league is already moving in that direction. You're already moving in that direction. Philly themselves was just like, I think we may need to get more balance. We may need to get more bigger defensive wings because of what the New York Knicks did to us. They're already saying the college kids, how many college kids now who are closer to 6 feet, 6'1", 6'2", who are pointing at Jalen Brunson? Did you see this kid? What is it? Caleb Wilson or Williams from Chicago that got drafted? I think he was number 4 overall. Did you see how excited he was when Brunson was in his bag in the finals? He was like, "Give Brunson the ball, man, give Brunson the ball." And Brunson cooked and hit that shot. He was hyped for him. Everybody else in the world already knows that it's the Knicks' time. And it's something called the Brunson era that's upon us, except Adam Silver, who is tunnel vision focused on letting LeBron James get a farewell tour. Nobody care about you like that, bro. Nobody care about you like that. So I really, once again, Jalen Brunson is not going to ask you to celebrate him. He's going to take it. He doesn't ask for respect. He earns it. That's just him. And that's why Knicks fans, I mean, we're going to always advocate for our boy, but he don't care about that. He don't care about that. Look, he was supposed to they asked him about his own signature line. He was just like, yo, let me just rock Kobe's. That's my guy. As long as you let me have Kobe's for the rest of my career, I'm good money. Once again, a superstar who doesn't say, look at me. And you don't want that to be part of the face of your league, bro. You know how much you can grow internet globally, continue to grow globally. New York already globally is a market itself. And now you would have a superstar with good character who's relatable in size and frame like Steph Curry was. When non-athletic basketball players could see themselves continuing to watch the game because they could see themselves in the superstar that's the face of your league. We had a dominant run. I could see if we I could see if we won like Boston won a few years back, where everybody and their mother had to get injured and you just showed up to the game and you did what you're supposed to do. I could see if we won that way, which is why you don't have many people saying, I want to be Jason Tatum, I want to be Jalen Brown, except people in Boston. Man, you're missing an opportunity, Adam Silver. He's already doing all those things at 6'2", bro. You're missing an opportunity. I don't know how you haven't figured out how to market the hell out of Jason Brunson. Jason Brunson, damn. Jalen Brunson. I don't know how you haven't figured it out, bro. You're getting it wrong on that. This is bigger than basketball. The New York Knicks have clearly shown that they have culture. We probably, in terms of our swagger, if I'm being honest, in terms of our swagger, what champion over the last few years has had more natural swagger than us? When you're watching the story of the New York Knicks, what team who's won has had more swagger than the New York Knicks? I'll wait. Because the Ninjas in Boston are corny. I'll wait. OKC, them young boys, Shea. I think Shea is for this generation. And if you want to say, like they have their different version of swagger, fashion is big for this generation, this, that, and the third, all of that, you could see. But for a generation, what this New York Knicks team did was combine generations. If you look at the run, if you know anything about Knicks fans and Knicks Nation, there's the grandfather's Knicks, the father's Knicks, the son's Knicks, the nephews. It's different generations under one umbrella. Jalen Brunson is a stone cold killer. That's a throwback to Kobe Bryant. There's been so many Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan references that ninjas are ignoring. Y'all are really ignoring these references, and y'all really ignoring what he's putting on the floor as a product. Man, I mean, even the way that come on, man, the finals, you got Wu-Tang performing. You got all the celebrities out. Everybody's fighting to get there. Game 4, biggest comeback in history. Game 4 was hard to get a ticket. It priced out all of the real Knicks fans because everybody knew if you were anybody, you had to be part of it. If you were anybody that wanted a name and you wanted to be what the it thing was, the it thing was the Knicks. You had to be in the building. That's what it was. Jalen Brunson, bro, the Knicks have been on a hit. Man, we swept the ESPN awards. Whereas for the last 25 years, they've used that awards to throw shots at the Knicks disrespectfully. And the way you show up when it is your time and you sweep everything, that's exactly how you do it. This has been a dominant year across the board. And it's team chemistry. We smooth with it. Shout out to Cat. Everybody talk about Cat. Cat has never embarrassed us since he's gotten here. One of the biggest fear of a lot of Knicks fans is just like, oh man, he's going to come here and look soft or sound so. Cat has never disrespected or made us feel embarrassed in any type of way. He stepped into that spotlight and put his Timbs on and went to work. This team makes us proud from the beginning to the end. That's it. Cats are smooth with their fits. You know what I mean? We got Kith. Photo shoots, man. Knicks content creators, man. We can incorporate all these photos and videos and everything. The parade was popping. Had some of the best parade, man. Even the finals games or whatever coming out to ante up, bro. That energy, you feel it through the screen, baby. All of that was New York. All of it was New York. All of it was that New York flavor. They connected with the fans. They didn't just come here and show up on TV and they were scared of us. They went to Knicks Day, Knicks Twitter Day, Come on, man. They letting you touch the trophy, man. They part of the Knicks community. They part of New York's fabric. Come on, man. They showing up on podcasts. They're providing interviews. They're stopping and talking. They're surprising Knicks fans. Yo, baby, like they're part of the people, bro. Nowhere. Last few seasons, show me where that's been a thing. It hasn't been. Once again, NBA, you are missing an opportunity. You are missing an opportunity. And if you think I'm lying on that, and we talking about going global, Ninja, yo, put your ones in the chat if you rocking with me though. Put your ones in the chat. Yo, there was a point in time where the New York Knicks cap was the hottest fashion product of the second quarter of 2026. Look that up if you don't believe me. Talk your talk. If the New York Knicks cap wasn't the hottest fashion product of Q2, quarter 2, 2026, you kidding me? You kidding me? And we talking like, Chanel, or we're talking fashion, quality fashion items. The New York Knicks cap was the hottest fashion product of the second quarter of 2026. Come on, man. Look, so I say that with this message, man. I know I got on here just to talk about them trying to hijack the Knicks, not giving us credit, trying to push us past our moment. Let me say, I want to know if y'all understand this. The Knicks aren't simply having a basketball moment. We're not simply having a basketball moment. We're having a cultural moment. Because this run, I had a live about this. I said this shortly before the finals outcome. I said, culture-wise, we got it. Fashion-wise, with a capital. Music-wise, all these references are going to be dropped. Or we're going to be in all of the rappers' lines. Celebrity, we've always had that. New York identity, our team embodies that. Basketball, we play the right way. We got the best brand of basketball right now. And the slight tweak that we made against the Atlanta Hawks helped us dominate the rest of the way. Against your alien, they had already tried to be a kingmaker. They were a kingmaker with LeBron James. They tried to crown Wemby king. I don't care what nobody says. Those finals world champion shirts should not have been silver and black. They wanted it to be the Spurs. They wanted it to be the Spurs. I'm telling you, they wanted the champion to be the Spurs. The New York Knicks came and crashed their party. Period. All right. So we don't care. We're going to get this win on opening night. We're going to spoil Philly's plans. We're going to let them know why we're the champions and that you need a team effort and chemistry and a team that knows how to play together while y'all figure it out on open night. And stay healthy with broken-ass, built of glass Joel Embiid and old-ass LeBron James, okay? Another thing I want to talk about, shout out to all of y'all who are rocking with me. I want to talk a little bit about all the clout chasers. Y'all notice the moment we won, man, first off, there's haters and the clout chasers. I want to address both of them real quick. I don't want this to be too long of a live. But y'all notice that the clout chasers are there, right? Y'all see Trae Young ass try to get a moment off of us. Every time you see him talk to a peer, they're like, why don't the Knicks fans always talk about Trae Young? Yeah, man, I don't know. I guess rent-free. No, nigga, it ain't rent-free. We know you're going to do corny-ish. So we just want to remind you of what it was. You had a little bit of a moment when we ain't have no talent. We had an overachieving Tom Thibodeau team. Every team Tom Thibodeau plays for, he squeezes the blood out of the rock. He gets the most out of that team. We had Nerlens Noel on that team. All heart, minimal talent. Tom Thibodeau maximizing the talent. But now that we got our squad, when the last time you won? You got a losing record against us, bro. So during Fanatics Fest, what you did, first off, you weren't strong enough to rip the jersey, so you look corny there. You're going to walk out there trying to recapture some of the villain. Ninja, we ain't play you since 1947. So they tried to pre-tear the jersey. You had one job to do. Come out there and rip the jersey. You couldn't even do that. You couldn't even do that. You went out there and you struggled with it and you threw it on the ground and then you walked off. The original failure was when you was riding through the city, you're playing old ass highlights from that first year you played us and you took a bow on the floor and you eliminated us when we had Nerlens Noel, hands of stone ass. But you knew the moment Brunson arrived to the New York Knicks, you knew your days were over. You had to know it. You had your little moment where you tried to roll dice on the floor and you felt the look that he gave you. He was just like, yo, we just got to win the game. And then they shipped your ass out to Washington Wizards. You're irrelevant, bro. But you're going to play them old-ass highlights in the limo and talk about you riding through New York. Clout chasers. This is when you know the league is forgetting about you. And you're frantically grabbing onto whatever you can. And in a shorter period of time, that man not only came to the Eastern Conference and took your position on the All-Star team, and took your position on the USA team, but then he won a championship before you. That's why you reaching for his ankles, trying to get a touch of, New York Jesus's garment, so you could get a little bit of less. Nah, you gets none. So we ain't talking about the lollipop that fell on the floor with your hair. Okay, we're gonna pack him up and get him out of there. Second person. Clout chasing, old ass Vernon Maxwell. Bring your ass to the front of the congregation. Yeah. Ninja, didn't you win the championship from the Houston Rockets? This ninja cannot keep his name. He can't keep his vitriol of the New York Knicks out of public view. But obviously, you got to talk about us. We won a championship. And if you're being this public figure, with a platform or, being interviewed on platforms, they ask you about them. I can't stand them motherfucker. That's what he's saying. I can't stand them. And that mother flipping New York fan. So, all right, so first you're talking about the team. Now you can't get Knicks fans' name out your mouth. Gargle. You got us in the mouth all the time. But this ninja's out here like, I can't stand. Well, I'm glad you can't stand us now, ninja. Because we got a chip now. We champions now, ninja. So eat that. We don't care if you sit down and if you can't stand us. Sit down. Okay? And the last clout chaser, y'all all know, is your boy Tyrese Halliburton. Bring your corny ass to the front of the line. And I left you last because I enjoy this one the most. I enjoy Tyrese Halliburton's corny ass the most. All right. Let me tell you the different moments, right? Different moments of the corniness. They had I think did he get married? Was it a marriage? Yeah, I think he got married, right? So I think he got married. Yo, shout out to him. Congratulations on the marriage, whatever. But shout out to him. So at his marriage, he had 50 Cent perform at his wedding, and he was like, boom, I run New York. I Run New York is the song that 50 performed. And he jumping with his corny ass on the stage like a mosh pit. I run New York. When you run New York, ninja? Like, to me, he had a good run last year because the Knicks, or that year that he went for his run, was the year we was losing bodies. We were losing injuries. We were losing bodies. So we weren't maximum health. In order to win a championship, you have to have a lot of things go your way. But the most important thing that you really need to have to get to the finals is just health. And we didn't have it. And we really didn't have it. So they advanced and they got smacked. Okay? So it is what it is. But he was just like, had I still been healthy, Knicks wouldn't have made it to the championship. They wouldn't have won the championship. First slight. Okay, boom. Why don't you just set the F up? You ain't there. Your team ain't there. We slapped y'all this season. It is what it is. But that's the first light. Second, wedding. I can't wait to post this thing. I run New York. I run New York. I bet. Cool. We see you happy, but we just won. Okay, so get off our D. Next thing we see, what I absolutely love, schedules come out. And this is where I look at them and it's like you have an inflated view of who you are in this league because you're the only one that believes it. And the people in Indiana are the only ones that believe it. They don't love you like that, dog. The NBA doesn't see you like that. You had a nice little run during the NBA Cup tournament. You had a nice little run when all those people were falling along the injury wayside when you made it to the finals with your team. And then you got your cheeks clapped in the finals. Okay? That's it. That's it. You caught your Achilles pop. Finals, it was unfortunate. I don't wish that on nobody, but that's what happened. He was laying there with the limp, calf muscle. And there was a wrap. And the NBA treated you accordingly. They gave you a random Thursday ass opening game against those New Orleans Pelicans. They don't love you, bro. They don't love you like that. You ain't the story. Nobody's looking at you like, ooh, the big bad wolf is returning. Nobody's looking at you like that. Nobody. Jalen Brunson won a championship before you, bro. That's it. Eat that. Eat that. You could run New York if you want to. Okay? That's all right. We got plenty of parks out here. You got plenty of running trails. Run New York as much as you want to. Okay? Stay away from the stage. Stage is ours. We don't care if you feel disrespected. Okay? You're corny. All right? So, yeah, I just want to hop on here, man. Just share a couple of those stories, man. Your boy Trey was wilding. Your boy Hallie's wilding. Halitosis is wilding. Old heads are wilding. Vernon Maxwell. This is what happens, man, when you win. This is what happens when you win. I'm excited for the season, man. People are still talking about we need another big, we need another player. I don't care about none of that. I trust Leon Rose. I trust Leon Rose to put us in the best position to be competitive, whether it's before the season starts or at the trade deadline. I trust everything that Leon Rose, every decision that he's willing to make. I trust he's going to put us in the best position to repeat as champions. I trust that we're going to repeat as champions back to back. It's going to be a wrap if that happens. Oh, my God. But what say you, Knicks fans? I just wanted to hop on here, man, and see and talk some talk, man. I wanted to talk some talk, man. I talked a little bit about shout out to y'all who just joining me, man. I just wanted to go live after hours, man. We talked about Philly and the NBA being in bed with LeBron trying to hijack the Knicks' opening night. Not necessarily hijack, but they want some of that attention to be spread across the league. They see the eyes of the world on New York right now. They see we've had probably so many more Knicks fans join the bandwagon, and other Knicks fans who are longstanding Knicks fans, let them join us, bro. We gotta grow. We champions now. Welcome those cats. Don't try to gatekeep. Welcome those cats. I don't care. At some point in time, every one of us had a year that we could point at and say we became a Knicks fan. These are going to be hopefully Knicks fans 20 years from now who say, I became a Knicks fan during that magical run for the Knicks in 2025. So don't be so quick to be like, oh, you ain't here. Bro, let them cats come on. This is how we grow. This is how we grow. Okay, a lot of us ain't going to be here 20 years from now. We need this fan base to be held down. All right. But yeah, man, I just think New York, bro, it's our time, man. I think the NBA with this super team that they're trying to put in Philly, I think they're stunting the growth of the NBA being able to pivot towards a different style of basketball. I think what the Knicks give you are a team concept, a unique and creative and a new way to build a team and show patience. How do you develop through strategy, piecing together a team, piecing together a front office, piecing together a coaching staff, looking at how players play together in college, valuing the fact that if players play multiple years in college, how ready they are to come into the league, the fact that you don't have to have superstars to win. that you can play a team that has good character players, that you can make character a highlight. You know, there was a couple of people that we turned down that would have been, look, James Harden still hasn't won a title. Still hasn't won a title. You know, I love Chris Paul. Chris Paul ain't won a title. Chris Paul had a reputation of wanting to do things his way. God PG. James Harden, reputation, can't stay out of the strip clubs. You know what I mean? It's just like it's no secret. Donovan Mitchell, you're not strong enough as a leader. You know, a number two, like, come on, man. Like you got a player who checks all the boxes. You know, came in, he's almost like the Derek Jeter in the New York market that, you know, eats players up and spits them out. And the NBA doesn't want to lean into that. It just baffles my mind. They don't see what they have, but they don't have to see what they have. It's just going to add more credibility to New York. What say you, y'all? I got to get off here, man. I got to start getting ready for the work week. Just shout out to all Knicks fans, baby. You know, we here. Look, opening night is going to be theater, you know, just like our run was, and I'm here for it. All right? Leave your comments below, man. Throw your ones in the chat. And I'm going to be doing this a little bit more often, man, just going live. I know I say that all the time. Y'all rock with me. Y'all patient. I appreciate you. Keep this in mind. Same thing applies to life that applies to our team. If there's no struggle, there's no progress. But also remember this, whether it's out there in the real world or here in these YouTube streets, here in Knicks Deli, baby, everybody eats. I'm your boy, Shia, and I'm out. Peace out, y'all. Yep. My joint messing with me right now. Here we go. Stay good. Have a great week. Peace, y'all.